Good day, everyone. My name is Joseph, and my partner in this project is Jai. And this project is about network analysis among actors, producers, and directors in the film industry. So it's actually a known fact to everyone that we need to have a very good relationship with our colleagues in the workplace so that we would be able to deliver what is expected of us. So in some cases where our relationship with each other is not that good, then there would be a tendency of being not motivated to perform well. And with that, the result, our outputs would be of a very bad quality. And in the end, our companies would also be affected because we are not delivering or delivering properly well what we promise to our clients. The same situation also applies in the case of a movie industry, wherein people really have to work properly well so that they would be able to create a piece of art that people or moviegoers would really want to watch. And in some cases where a certain actor or actress is not having a very good relationship with other persons in the set, everybody would also be very much affected negatively, especially their emotion. And with that, they are not going to perform well in the set. And with that, when the movie is ended and the result is bad, then the movie, of course, would not be earning a higher revenue because of some, of course, bad press releases coming from the leak information of how the set was uh, made up of. So we have here the case of Alexandros Rigas. He's actually a director who wants to produce a movie that is of good quality. And what his aim this time is to select the best composition of people that would work very much properly well because their chemistry is really great. And because their chemistry is great, they would have this a very good working dynamics. Why do we have to learn this one? So with that, we want to help Alexandros Rigas to create a certain movie. And with that, we have to use the network analysis using K-means algorithm to identify, to predict the best composition of people to work with, those people who have a very good working dynamics. And why do we have to do this one? The simple reason for that is that we want to have the filmmakers and the film industries, our film industry professionals to have a better understanding of as to what would be the best composition of people of talents to work with in making a certain movie. And that is how we are going to help Mr. Alexandros Vigos. So how do we source our data? Our data actually comes from IMDb dataset, and the dataset is actually very much big. And so because it's actually very much big, what we do here is just we slice the data and we just get the data from year 2020 to 2023. And also we use these different dimension tables. We created these different dimension tables to be used for this analysis. So we have the dim title, the dim talent, the dim title genre, the dim genre, the dim role, the dim talent role. All of these make up the data set that we use for this analysis. So after this, we now have the identification of how many groups to um, compose in this particular data set. And with that, after using the K-means clustering, we have identified 4 clusters so far, and we've named them the excellent group, then the performing group, we have the great group, and the good group. So how do we get these 4 clusters? So we got that simply by using the elbow method. And the elbow method is actually based on the inertia scores. So these inertia scores would tell us how many groups a certain data set is composed of, and that is validated by using this elbow method. So we actually have 4 groups, and it's actually very exhaustive to use all of them in our analysis. And besides, in the case of Alexandros Vigas, he just would like to understand and identify put the best persons to work with in a certain production of a certain movie. So with that, we just focused on the excellent group because we believe that in this group we can always find the persons, excellent persons who have the inner motivation to work with and to produce a certain movie that is of good quality. So first thing first is that we have identified the primary group of people to work with, and in the case of Alexandros Rigos, we have these 7 persons who are in the performance and acting, 4 in the production department, and 2 in the sound and music. And these are actually some of the persons he can work with as his first priority in the selection of the different talents to work with. And if in some cases where there would also be some spaces or some vacancy or some demands for some talents, then they can always go to his second network. And this actually, this one is composed of different people he may not directly worked with in the past 3 years. So his first primary, his primary network are the persons that he worked well with in the last 3 years. So he has actually a lot of options. Just imagine for the production department alone, he has 5.3K different talents. For the performance and acting, he has a lot of choices, 5.1, and so on and so forth. So these are just some of the persons that he can just contact if he needs their talents to work with him. And what would be our recommendations? So Alexandros Rigas can always use his secondary networks to create pool of talents to work with as a director in his future projects. So this may not be the first project that Mr. Alexandros Rigas is working on, and in some time in the future, he can always go back to the study and choose from among these pool of talents to work with. And another reason is that the result of this study can be used by other directors as the reference to select the best talents to hire and to work with. And also another study can be done to determine if these actors and actresses that different actors and actresses that some directors and producers have collaborated with can also be the right persons to work with for a certain project in the future. And with that, thank you for listening.